Big news, pepperoni fans. Marco's Pizza is celebrating America's favorite topping the best way we know how. It's Marco's Pepperoni Fest with 3 pepperoni-stuffed showstoppers. Sink your teeth into our new pepperoni bread for just $5. Grab a cheesy pepperoni pizzoli handheld or go big with our iconic Pepperoni Magnifico pizza. Get all these bold pepperoni flavors at prices worth cheering for only during Marco's Pepperoni Fest.
Use code PEPFEST. California residents use code PEPFESTCA. California prices higher. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Fees and restrictions may apply. See participating stores for details.
This is an Extra 106.3 podcast. To hear more live and local content like this, tune into 106.3 FM or download the Extra 106.3 app. Extra 106.3 and a Second Chance Bail Bonds are here to back your blue. Back Your Blue highlights special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Join a Second Chance Bail Bond CEO Daniel Matalon and host Tug Coward to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. Now it's time to Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra 106.3 app.
Welcome to Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3. My name is Tug Coward, along with Daniel Matalon, the CEO and president of a Second Chance Bail Bonds and a Second Chance Monitoring. Today, our guest, Major Steve Gaynor, Criminal Investigation Division, Cobb County Sheriff's Office, and Investigator Pedro Munoz. And he does senior fraud presentations around Cobb County and make sure that people realize what's real and what's not real. And these days, it's getting harder and harder to distinguish. It is not just on social media anymore. It can be videos that look so real, and they're not. It can be phone calls coming in with voices that you recognize, and it's not the people that you think you're talking to. This is a problem now, but it's about to explode and be worse, and that's why Officer and Investigator Munoz is going to be so imperative to help people like you listening or like me and my mama, because I call her every day and I have to walk her through this. There's so much fraud going on, and we're going to get from Major Gaynor some of that stuff, but wire fraud, bank fraud, cyber fraud, and then focusing on elderly folks and taking advantage of them. But it's not just them. It's you and I, too. Daniel Matalon got roped in the other day. You've probably seen.
I was scammed. I was
absolutely scammed. You've seen it. I've seen it. Everybody's gotten the text saying that you were driving in the HOV lane and you weren't supposed to be. Yep. And now you got to click on a link to pay your fine. And they were nationwide. I don't know if it started in Atlanta, Daniel, but I know they were here and they were everywhere.
And they got me.
Dude, I bet
all my debit cards.
I got one every day. I got one of those texts every day.
I should have known better, though.
Well, you should have.
Feel like it.
Yeah, but seriously.
Just maybe.
But sometimes you're running so fast, you're like, oh my gosh, did I really do this?
Well, yeah.
And they look real.
Yeah.
They look legitimate. So what did they take you for?
Initially, so California, they went to an ATM machine. So this is the part that I don't understand is how. So I clicked the link. We got experts
that may be able to explain it. I don't know.
And I clicked the link, and then next thing you know, they did cash advance they did $400 at an ATM machine in California.
You don't live in California, Daniel.
I do not, and I was in Georgia when it happened. But yeah, I don't quite. So there's parts of this that I don't understand. It was my Bank of America account. And as I clicked the link within the hour, the fraud started, and it was just tattooed. Boom, 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 boom.
This was on your cell phone?
On my debit card.
But the
device, prompt came in.
Prompt came in, text message on my cell phone, yes. This was in the last 45 days.
When you click a link, there's malware out there that's very sophisticated to the point where even if you're doing it on your computer, it can download something into your device that even the latest malware or virus detection won't know it's there, and it can track your passwords. It can give somebody
probably keystrokes too, right?
Access to everything that you have on that device. So,
which is scary.
And this happened when?
This in the last
45 days.
Did you have the device checked just to be on the safe side?
No, because I am moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour. So
but like most people,
I travel a ton. I mean, I don't even have time. Even if I had to swap out a phone, like I'm never in town long enough to like. I mean, just everything's happening very fast for me. Mm-hmm. So like, I just immediately ordered new cards. Clearly, the bank obviously flagged it, but they were able to get the money. They did get the money in California.
But we don't know if they still got any.
But see, that's the thing.
Well, right, and I mean, there's a lot in that phone.
And so that's a great question to start out with, because if anybody else has fallen prey to this, and so many people have, there's a reason it kept showing up every day, because it worked.
Mm-hmm. I just don't know how you how do you get cash off of having someone's debit card in another state? That's the part that, like, I've seen a lot of this other stuff. I've never seen that where you could just have cash that instantly. That was weird.
Any guesses?
You can buy gift cards, and cash a gift card. I don't know at what point of sale or in California, but there's a lot of ways to extract money with a debit card. You can certainly, like I always tell people, when if you're out to eat and a waiter comes by to collect the check, and you hand him your debit card. Well, all he needs to do is snap a picture of the front and back of that card, and he could be shopping on Amazon before you're home. So we generally tell people, try to use a credit card. Credit card companies aren't going to like hearing this, but use a credit card, because if it gets compromised, it's not coming directly out of your bank account.
But Pedro, we've not used our debit card in about 8 years. We never. I have a debit card in case I need to go to an ATM to get cash out to pay for parking or whatever it is that you need cash for. Otherwise, we never, ever, ever. Thank you, Clark Howard. Because it was, I remember Clark, he was the one. He was the guy that was beating the drum. Once you use your ATM card, your debit card, and it comes out of your bank account, sometimes it's impossible to get it back. It is gone.
Well, at the gas stations, they did that a lot, where you'd put your card in, and then they put a device in behind your card, and then they extract the information.
That's exactly right. And then
they just use it till it dies.
And then the money's just gone. Yeah. And then fingers crossed you get it back, but you don't always, and we've all heard stories of them not. But at least, like you're saying, Pedro, with a credit card, you can challenge it. It's not your bank account where the money's just gone and you're stuck.
On a side note, I commend you guys for doing this, because like you said right now, with a lot of these crimes, after they've happened, the chances of getting somebody's money back are
slim to none.
Very, very slim.
And I think that's the biggest thing, because even when it happened to me the other day, although I've known better, and I've been scammed many times before, this isn't the first time it's happened, but I should have known better this time. But I remember just literally being like, okay, so what am I going to do about it? I've talked to you guys, we've all talked about these problems, and we all know they exist, but like, really, what can we, because like when you Cash App somebody, I mean, that's the other thing, the Cash App, all that stuff, they're plowing through Cash App. I mean, there's no trace.
Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, all these, we always tell people, all these methods, there's nothing wrong with them. They're legitimate ways to pay someone.
Of course, yeah.
As long as you know who the person is. And not somebody that you're buying something from the dreaded online, like a Facebook marketplace. You've never met them. You couldn't identify them if they were sitting right next to you. And you're paying them with a method that if they opened up an account on the other end using fictitious information, no law enforcement agency in the world is going to get that money back.
And we did the same thing. We had something come up, and it wasn't a fraud at all. We were paying for my son a hitting lesson for baseball, right? It was just a coach that he had been hitting with. He gave us his Venmo or Zelle, whichever one it was. And there was one that was the same name, but one had an underscore and one didn't, and I sent it to the wrong person.
Yeah.
So I asked Coach, hey, I sent you the money. Did you get it? And he's like, no, I didn't. And I looked, and I was like, oh, no, I've sent it to the wrong person. Thankfully, that person was honest and sent it back to me.
And that's how the elderly suffer, like from phishing emails, because they make them look so realistic. Like you just said, they'll put a little character in there. It could be a comma.
All it is.
And the rest of the email will look like it's from the legitimate company, like maybe Amazon. And so it's very hard to tell. And that's how they get at you.
No, it's incredible. I want to bring in Major Gaynor, because as we talk about fraud, there's been so much fraud, cyber crimes and fraud, and they've increased exponentially. And you gave us just a 3-month snapshot of some of the numbers that are astounding.
Yeah, so I'll tell you that I just pulled 3 months just to give us a little round number. So in April, 1.39 million. In March, 2.34 million. And just alone, this was pulled on the 10th day of May. We had $2.79 million already in May.
So those are actual,
trending in the wrong direction.
But those are the actual fraud crimes or
These
the
are
actual dollar signs, the dollar
These are
amounts?
fraud cases that got reported to us and the amount of loss that the citizen is reporting. And this is just cases that are reported to us.
And that's
There's a lot
just
of people
Cobb County.
that just suck it up and
Like Daniel was talking about.
Like Daniel, I lost, and maybe he only lost $300 or something. But these are people who lose big money. Like one of these is almost $2 million, which is why the number
$2 million
is so big, is because May alone there was one individual that lost just under $2 million.
Hey, are you at liberty to say what that was so people understand? Is it someone's house payment? Is it their 401k that someone's asking?
Some of these are wire frauds. Mm-hmm. I give you an example of a wire fraud. Somehow they got malware into a computer, whether it be the closing attorney, the real estate agent, or the victim. Somehow they got into that computer and they watched the traffic between them all. And when it came to sending $27,000 to the closing attorney for closing 3 days later, they interceded. So the attorney said, send it to this wire address. And then seconds later, oh no, I got the wire address incorrect, send it to this one. What they didn't recognize, one item was changed. So it didn't go to the closing attorney or the real estate agent. It only went between the victim and this suspicious person that intercepted $27,000. By the time we got it, 4 days later, it was gone. Wire's very tough to get.
Oh yeah, same day wire. Yeah.
And how you counter that is you never send a wire without using old school technology and picking up the phone. Don't just go by that email and call the number you have for that closing attorney and say, "Hey, I just want to make sure I got this information right." If they had done that, they'd still have their money.
So just
sitting in
follow
their
up.
account. Yeah,
Just follow
Yep.
up.
And an old-fashioned phone call, which nobody does anymore. Everybody texts and emails. Nobody got
You
time
don't even
to
know if
go.
you're texting the same person.
Well, but see,
right?
that's
How'd you
the other
know?
thing. That's the other thing. You have no idea.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
I think ready?
Yeah.
I think our seniors, one of the biggest thing they fall victim to is the scam where they call up and go, hey, I'm from Wells Fargo, Truist, whatever bank you want to be, Regions, and your account has been compromised. I need you to go immediately to the bank, withdraw all your funds.
They did this to my mom
and
the
I
other
will
day.
give you an account number where you can go to this ATM machine and put it back in, and we'll protect your money until we get your account all worked out again. So they'll run to the bank, and they will take whatever money's in there and go to these, most of the time, they're Bitcoin machines. And let's face it, our seniors don't know what Bitcoin and cryptocurrency
I don't know what it is.
right? So
Really?
I mean, I
it's
know
the
what
most
Bitcoin is, but
difficult.
I've never used a
but
Bitcoin ATM machine.
that's what I'm
I don't
saying.
know. So
Yeah.
what is that? What are these machines? Because
Well,
I
hang
see
on.
them all. I see them all over.
Hold that thought. We'll come back on the other side of the break and establish what that is and work out this example as we talk to Major Gaynor and Investigator Munoz here on Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3.
Big news, pepperoni fans. Marco's Pizza is celebrating America's favorite topping the best way we know how. It's Marco's Pepperoni Fest with 3 pepperoni stuffed showstoppers. Sink your teeth into our new pepperoni bread for just $5. Grab a cheesy pepperoni pizzoli handheld or go big with our iconic pepperoni magnifico pizza. Get all these bold pepperoni flavors at prices worth cheering for only during Marco's Pepperoni Fest.
Use code PEPFEST. California residents use code PEPFESCA. California prices higher. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Fees and restrictions may apply. See participating stores for details.
Buying a car shouldn't be a mystery. Hi, I'm Stacey Ellis, Vice President of the Jim Ellis Automotive Group. At Jim Ellis, we believe in complete transparency because you deserve to know exactly what you're getting. That's why we show you all the numbers, no hidden fees, no surprises. We explain every option clearly so you can make the right decision with confidence. And if you ever have questions, we have answers. Our team is here to guide you, making sure you're informed and in control every step of the way. At Jim Ellis Automotive, we don't want to sell you just any car. We want to help you buy the right car because doing the right thing for you is what matters most to us. Experience car buying the way it should be. Honest, straightforward, and built around you. And don't forget, Jim Ellis buys cars too. It's the safe and easy way to get maximum value for your car. To get started, visit one of our 21 convenient locations across Metro Atlanta or shop online at jimellis.com. The quick, easy, and convenient way to search and compare more than 5,500 cars, trucks, and SUVs. Jim Ellis Automotive, where you can always expect the best.
This is Back Your Blue, presented by A Second Chance Bail Bonds, live on Extra 106.3 FM and streaming for free anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Welcome back to Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3. My name is Tug Coward, along with Daniel Madelon. He is the president and CEO, founder of A Second Chance Bail Bonds and A Second Chance Monitoring, who works with law enforcement all the time throughout the city of Atlanta. And also Major Gaynor and Investigator Munoz from Cobb Sheriff's Office. And we were just talking about how in the last segment that our elderly citizens are being taken advantage of at rapid rates. Daniel talked about his mother, and we'll bring in that story. I talked about my mom a little bit off the air, and the fact that I call Mama every day, and every day she's got a new story about somebody asking her, for her email address. And I'm like, Mama, you don't give your email address to nobody. And she don't understand why. She's like, it's fine. We're just exchanging it. I was like, no, it's not. and trying to help her understand that has been such a challenge. And to understand that someone is always actively trying to access her accounts, whether Facebook, whether Instagram, any of the other accounts that she goes to, they're always trying to access them because that gives them the back door into bigger accounts. Am I right about that?
Yep. Our seniors are they're a prime target. They've been around so long. They're from a generation that was more trusting.
Without a doubt.
We always say their handshake, their signature, and their word all carried the same value.
Yes, sir.
And they grew up in times when they probably left their doors unlocked.
Mama still to this day does. I try to tell her all the time, Mama, don't leave the back door unlocked.
And these predators, they hope they come across one of them, and then they're so trusting that they can lie to them and convince them so easily.
Yeah.
Yep. They get into that email account that you talked to your mom about. Don't give that email, because that's their opening to start sending you those phishing.
That's exactly
right.
right.
Once you click on it, just like the link you got on the phone, once you click on it, you've opened up that malware that's now going to be in your system.
Which we're not sure right this moment that Daniel's phone isn't infested.
It's gotta be by now.
Dude, your personal information is on the dark web right now.
There's probably a double agent right now acting as me right now.
Well,
on the West Coast or something.
We always tell people too that all of our information
without a doubt
is being sold like a commodity.
Books. We're open books,
and that's why we always tell people to freeze your credit with
that's right.
Make sure it's frozen, because if not, at some point somebody's going to use it.
I think that's a good point to bring out to our listeners. There's four things you really need to do. You need to get your credit report from the 3 different agencies.
Yep.
And you need to freeze your credit.
Yep.
Credit report and freezing. And it's funny you bring that up, because the last time we bought a car, and that's been several years back, like 2017 or something, we went to try to pay, to put the down payment down, and the guy was like, we can't, your credit's frozen. We can't do anything. And I was like, well, yes, it is. Of course it is. My wife, saving the day. I had no idea what was going on. I tried to play it off like I was cool. I wasn't. She knew what was up. She knew. She was like, okay. And she went to the website, unfroze her credit. Payment went through, froze it right back. Mm-hmm. If it had been me, I'd been like Daniel. My phone would have been fishing with infestation.
You can freeze it day in and day out?
You can open and close it. Pedro knows a little bit more about it.
I'm going to have to get with Pedro on this.
No, seriously.
Yeah, he can tell you a little bit about how to do that.
I've never heard of freezing it and freezing it day in day out, but you can. If we tell people once, because a lot of people think, I freeze my credit, then what happens to my credit cards? And then you explain to them, it doesn't affect your established credit. It only affects your ability to open up new credit. Or the person that stole your information from doing it, more importantly. And I tell them, if you froze it and say tomorrow you're going to finance something, you're at a car dealership, just talk to the loan officer and ask them which of those 3 credit report agencies they use. And you just tell them I just need a few minutes to contact them and unfreeze it. And you can do it online or over the phone, and you can pick the day you want it to unfreeze it, unlock it, and the day that you want to freeze it back up. If you're purchasing a home, they'll check it several times, probably through the course of a month. So in that case, you might have to unfreeze one of them for 30 days.
Right.
But you're not leaving it wide open 365, all year long, where you're rolling the dice that somebody's gonna try to access it.
And that's a good point, realizing that each credit reporting agency is independent, right? So if you don't freeze them all, then whatever one you left open is still open.
So Experian, Equifax, TransUnion,
Yep.
those are our majors. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta pay attention to those. But I'm telling you, some people have got it. Like my sweet wife had it figured out. I had no idea, but now I do, and now we have it. We even have it for our son, who's about to turn 21. All his credit is frozen too, because he has a credit card, and no one's ever looking at his credit. As far as us,
we've had people come in that their kids just started out in college, and that's when they found out their credit was compromised.
We had that last week with a 16-year-old bought a car he didn't know he bought.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, at least I could have gotten it. But can you imagine?
Oh my God!
Can you imagine? Like, so what's protocol there? What are y'all able to do, or anything?
Yeah.
So a lot of times, like these credit where you buy a car, they're using fraudulent information, obviously, to buy it, and they use fraudulent ID to purchase it, right? So you might have Daniel's picture on that driver's license and the card that he might show, but that's not Daniel's information on the credit card or the license that you're copying. Mm-hmm. And so they buy that car. There's nothing for us to do to track it other than we entered that car as stolen. At that point, it becomes a stolen vehicle because it was fraudulently obtained. Mm-hmm. That's the only way we ever get them back. If they don't go and flip that VIN, then somebody will eventually come up on that car. The plate will be incorrect on it, or there'll be no plate. It'll be a drive-out that's expired or just doesn't look right.
Right.
So, but then for the family who's some 16-year-old kid now has a car that's financed in his name, there's like, you're just stuck with this bill, this new.
No, you have to file a report, and then once you have that incident report,
then you can take it to the bank,
or send it to the credit report agency to get it taken off of there, because that's what any bank or any business down the road is going to be looking at about that 16-year-old, and if it's not on his credit report, it never happened.
Can you imagine the stress?
Oh, dude, that would be the worst
of
process.
A new car showing up on your credit report. Oh, dude, I barely afford the three that I got.
It'll take a whole year to get the thing sorted out. To be honest with you, because that's my biggest frustration with it is that like it's so hard to track this stuff down that like you're literally helpless. I mean, you just are. I mean, you might as well accept it and move on from it, and then protect yourself. Immediately.
The institutions. Because they want to stay competitive. Like right now, on my cell phone here, you name the bank, I can open up an account. I could use Major's name, your date of birth, and your social security number.
Here it is.
And they'll give me 30 days to present myself at a local branch to identify myself. But these criminals that know this, they'll run as much stolen money through that account in that short.
And they sell it. I mean, that's the other part. I mean, you can buy this data.
What would it take to stop it? I don't know, something at the legislative level to
But that's always reactionary, though, right?
Yeah,
and the criminals are so far ahead of that.
We're behind the 8 ball, and so how do you, even if you trace the money, you're going to trace it to a non-existing person.
But then, if they're really smart and take any sort of time, which most probably don't, they're just trying to run as much through there as they can. But if they wanted to be sneaky about it and wanted it to work for a long term, they just go to your Facebook page. They got your name, they got what city you live in, they probably got the high school you went to. I mean, they've got so much information that we share freely with people. If somebody wanted to be that sneaky and have it last for a long time and not just, every bunch of different hodgepodge, they could set up one that was probably
Hey, Tug, you know what you talked about earlier with the phone scams about
getting the text.
Your voice, AI.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel, has, well, the jail system has a picture of somebody being arrested.
Yeah.
They have your grandson's voice on your Facebook page. They use AI and record that and send you back a message that says, "Hey, Grandma, I got arrested by the Cobb County Sheriff's Office. I need you to pay $1,000 to a second chance bonding, and here's their contact."
Here's their contact information. That's happened
at least once a week. That happens. I mean, and it's happening in bonding company sheriff's departments all across the country. It's not
because
just
it's so easy to do. We do that very thing what you've just said on our morning show, where we will clone the afternoon guy's voice and have him say all kinds of wacky stuff, and it's hysterical, right? It's a radio show. We're trying to make people laugh and songs and dances and all that sort of stuff. And yet, when you think about it, they're doing the exact same thing, except they're using it against you in something that is going to be intimidating, something that you're going to be frightened by, because who's not going to rescue or go to the aid of their kid, grandkid, brother, sister, whomever, to be able to bail them out? In Daniel's case,
I don't even like. They're using. You take it a step further, and we'll go. They're even taking people's credit card information, remaking the card, and then they literally send them in. So they're using them at the bonding company. So you're being bonded out on fraud charges, and you're using a stolen credit card. I mean, just think about that. Just really think about that.
We actually had that last week, Daniel. I don't know that it was your bonding company, but we actually had a guy do his own bonds. He was arrested for fraud, so he created fraudulent court papers to bond himself out.
Wow.
No, but
that's innovative.
No, but we've done. No, I've experienced this over the years. It's crazy. They use the stolen credit card at the bonding company to bond out on a fraud. I mean, think about that.
Could you teach me how to do that?
That's doubling down. You just doubled down.
No, I know, right?
On the worst double down in the history of history.
I mean, it's impressive. You got to give them credit.
Good Lord.
Can I interject?
Please, yes.
The major brought up these scams, like with the grandparent scam he's referring to, whether they now they could use AI to mimic the voice, but it's been around for a long time, and before AI, and what they would do is like just disguise their voice or hit their nose and just come up with the story that Grandpa, I've been in an accident.
I rear-ended someone.
That's why they don't sound like me. And that's how it works. Now, when we state a problem like this, one of these scams, we like to provide like a fix, and the fix is to have a password, a family password established with your grandma and grandpa, the whole family. And if they ever find themselves with a situation like that and they ask for that password and they can't be provided, then and
banks are doing that
and now it wouldn't matter if they had the greatest AI in the world that mimics Junior's voice right down to the T. If they can't provide that password,
that's what our bank uses that.
Yeah.
Right now, even though I go through, give them all the information because I'm calling them, and they still ask for that password. So that's really, really smart. No, I get that. Circumventing that fraud is so thinking ahead. But then, how do you repair? How do you work backwards then? Because you would want to report that, right? This is something that's just happened to me. How would they reach out to y'all to let you know that it's happening? I mean, I know it's happening all over, but probably getting more information would be better, right?
So we started sending out some of what we call the blue sheet. It's the informational sheet that they would fill out to report a fraud. Originally, we only took fraud reports if you came to us, because we want to make sure we're talking to Tug when we're talking to Tug and we're talking to Daniel, right? We'd make them come. But in some cases where the seniors just can't get out of the senior home, we might send an investigator there.
Sure.
Or we might send it to a family member to fill it out for them, so that then we can go there and we have the pertinent information to do it. So they really need to come to 185 Roswell Street to fill a form out in person. Well, we do have, you can call our online admin and talk to her about your particular case. And she can answer some questions, tell you what to bring in when you come in. We like you to be prepared when you come in, have those 3 credit reports, have any documentation that's going to support. Like if you have a check that was washed, Daniel wrote a check to one of his vendors, and somebody... This is a big problem for seniors.
I was going to say, when you say,
they wash the check.
Tell what that is, because I don't know what washing is. Is that laundry? Is that the same thing?
So
is this different?
Daniel writes a check for $12.99 to Aldi's or something, right? So, but he sticks it in the mailbox with the flag up, and they come by and they get that check, which is what seniors do a lot, because that's the way it's always been done. They take that check and they either make or create a brand new check, or they just eliminate the name that is payable to and the figure, and all of a sudden that $12.99 check is now $12,999.
And it's going to you, not all.
And it's going to John Jones or whatever name they put on there, and they're cashing it.
All they need is the number that's on the bottom of that.
Like
that check.
the account and the routing number.
the routing account.
And then they, like Major said, they can go to Office Max, Staples, get blank checks, print them out at home, and empty out that account.
Goodness
And
gracious.
it's amazing. If they see a
That's low
corporation,
down.
they know to go big. If they see just a regular person, they're going to start small. If that check goes through, they're going to try another one. And like he had a case just the other day, right? Somebody trying to cash a check on an account. Went there, a guy, probably they picked him up on the corner of the road, said, I'll give you X amount of dollars. I don't know if he told us amount. And if you go in and cash this check. Well, the bank was wise. They held him. An officer was there. They arrested him or detained him. We arrested him. But he wouldn't tell us who gave him the check or anything, but it was a washed check from a client. And I think it was a company check written to another company to pay for something, but they had washed it to make it a personal check to this individual that was trying to cash it. That stuff happens all the time.
I would imagine,
All the time.
I would imagine, too, it's getting ahead, right? You just got to beat the information through the bank, right? As long as you can get it through there before.
Yeah, and they're on to the next one. Like, as quick as they charge your card, they already have 50 other ones that they've already got ready to go. And they just...
Before the bank even
They literally
flags it.
just sit around all day and just...
And they're
scam
hoping
people.
that teller doesn't have the initiative to call Daniel and go, hey, Daniel, do you really mean to write this
Because they push
check
checks.
for
They try to
$12,000?
push checks through Second Chance all the time. I mean, dude, I'll get a call, and
What
I
do you
get the
mean?
call, and it'll be Pinnacle Financial Partners. They'll call me, and they'll be like, there's a check for like $8,000. No, there's not. No, that's not possible.
And it depends on the bank. They all have their own policies and procedures. Some banks, I'm not going to name any names, but some of them, their policy is not to call the police. It's to tell the person to
Lord.
leave. And
But this happens all, like the checks, they do it all the time in Second Chance. I couldn't tell you how many times, but it's happened over the years. I mean, just tons.
But what kind of bank goes, I know somebody's getting scammed, and I'm not going to call the police to help them?
It's insured. It's insured by the federal government.
yeah,
So it ain't on us, man.
Yeah, it's on the federal government.
some of them don't like
and that's what
a
we run
police car
into.
showing up outside and scaring their customers. I don't know. I don't understand it myself, but
Look,
I know for a fact.
You can't ignore it. It's happening everywhere.
That's what I'm saying.
If
Like-
I'm a bank, I'm like, you know what? Hey, I want you there because it's somewhat of a deterrent in educating people on what not to do.
It seems like you'd want an officer in the
It's the
lobby.
only way it stops.
So that way somebody's not like, at least they're like, yeah, I ain't going to try it right now. I'm going to wait till he goes to
that costs
lunch
a
or
lot of
something.
money. That's cutting on the bottom line.
No, I get it.
But in Daniel's case, right? So they actually cashed a check for $12,000, say, and he appeals it. It's protected by the federal government. It's a fraud. Daniel's going to get his $12,000 back. We then go to the bank and go, okay, do you want to pursue this case? And they go, nope, it's insured.
Got
And
it.
we're done.
Got
And
it.
we get a lot of those. They're reported
Holy cow.
just for paperwork.
Which is very similar to like back when Home Depot. Do you remember when the shoplifting was like just rampant? I mean, and retail stores were like, we're gonna have to close because we can't. They weren't arresting anybody. It's the same concept,
Right.
It's the same thing.
Yep.
It's like they just don't want to. They're like, no, we don't want to arrest anybody shoplifting. I'm like, okay, well then, but now you guys are closing your stores, so
It's
they're
called
gonna
hope.
keep. You're giving people a license to steal, is what you're doing by
Definitely,
not
definitely.
not.
But you
doing
got
that.
your money back. The bank will get their money back from the federal government.
Right.
The federal government's out. Actually, the taxpayers are
Taxpayer,
out.
yes,
'cause
actually,
we're
you
all
and I.
paying those taxes.
It's you and I that's paying for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Go for a
So-
loan and your interest rate's through the roof.
Yeah.
Well, reckon why? Now you know. Oh man, there's so much. It just seems like there's so much to wade through. You talked about wire, we talked about bank fraud, cyber fraud. We've talked about elderly folks being taken advantage of, which seems to be the easiest of targets.
Hey, you know what? There's a new one.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, let's hear this.
Buckle up. We got
I
another one?
love getting the new
Funeral
the new
scams.
ones.
No.
Funeral scam.
You
Dude,
go
you
on,
gotta
you go
be-
in the paper, right? So they publish all those obituaries.
You gotta
and they
be
even
low.
give you the convenience of giving you who they're leaving behind. So then they call.
Little
Daniel
Jimmy.
loses like his mom. So Daniel's like the next of kin.
Yeah.
They look at Daniel. They find a number for Daniel. They call Daniel and go, hey, this is whatever funeral home, and we miscalculated, and you owe another $1,250. We need you to pay right now.
Yeah, this is
So
where
can you Venmo it to us?
And of course, that's probably if I'm hearing this right, as soon as you hear Venmo or PayPal or That should be
Gift cards. Walmart gift cards.
Anytime you hear anything like that doesn't go through a traditional way of paying, especially for a business. Mm-hmm. You know, but Venmo's what you use when you go to the softball games over at East Cobb.
Right, I'm
or
buying
something.
my daughter a coffee in Virginia.
Exactly,
right? I'm
right.
going to Venmo you the coffee money.
Right, but not for $1,200 because otherwise we're going to do something terrible, I guess. When it comes to
and it's normally like the grandma who's never even had a traffic ticket in her life, so she's like, oh. We got to get this done now, right now. We got to pay this right now, and they're like jackpot.
Yep. You missed jury duty, Daniel, and you got to pay this amount of money.
Right, you're wanted.
Hey,
you need
Doug,
this
you won't
warrant
believe
removed.
this. We even have people come to the front of the courthouse to pick up that money from you. If you miss court and you can't send it any other way, we'll meet you by the flagpole in front of the courthouse because they know the cameras aren't picking up there.
What?
People from all walks of life, all levels of education.
Meet me at the flagpole.
From a trash collector to a doctor, lawyer, judge. I've seen in 8 years, and the way I explain it or understand is it's just that if they catch on the right day, I always say if the stars align, it can happen to anybody.
So some friends of ours, kind of along these same lines, they were trying to buy a puppy for Christmas. They found a puppy on social media. This puppy was, exactly what they were looking for, whatever. And they started, corresponding via email with the breeder or whatever, because they had to buy a dog. Here's the reason they, to protect them a little bit. Their kid is allergic to animal dander, so they had to get a dog that was hypoallergenic. And those are always expensive. So they find the perfect dog. They're going back and forth, and they said, yep, send us a deposit via Zelle. And I remember them telling me this, and I was like, hey, wait a minute. I think if you use Zelle, if you send it, it ain't coming back. Mm-hmm. Like, it is gone.
Cash App, too.
And then, Cash App, then all of them are the same, but I don't know why Zelle stood out to me at that moment when we were having the conversation. And so they reached back out, and they're like, you know what, we don't have Zelle. Can we use Venmo? And they're like, nope, we only take Zelle. Whatever it was. And then the emails, they started degrading, and what I mean by that is the sentences were no longer made sense. Mm-hmm. You could tell that it was just put together, pieced together, whatever. It was no longer a normal correspondence. Like the conversation just made no sense. And that's when they knew that was the red flag. And all because I was like, Zelle? That's, and again, Zelle is is fine to use as long as you're 100% certain of the person that the Zelle payment is going to.
I had one time. It was a dog. They were buying a dog. They lived in Miami, and it's not bad enough that they got their money, but they had him drive all the way up here.
Oh God,
no!
Yeah,
it's a long ride.
Dude, that's low down.
No.
One day, what comes around goes around.
Oh, yeah, I'm a firm believer.
I got another one that we see quite a bit.
Hold that thought. When we come back on the other side of the break, we got one more that you will not believe the way people are being taken advantage of. And we tell these stories with no joy because it is painful for people, but we want you to know so you don't become the next victim. This is Back Your Blue with Major Gaynor and Investigator Munoz, along with Daniel Madelon of a Second Chance Bail Bonds and Monitoring. My name is Tug Howard on Extra 106.
Big news, pepperoni fans. Marco's Pizza is celebrating America's favorite topping the best way we know how. It's Marco's Pepperoni Fest with 3 pepperoni stuffed showstoppers. Sink your teeth into our new pepperoni bread for just $5. Grab a cheesy pepperoni pizzoli handheld or go big with our iconic pepperoni Magnifico pizza. Get all these bold pepperoni flavors at prices worth cheering for only during Marco's Pepperoni Fest.
Use code PEPFEST. California residents use code PEPFESCA. California prices higher. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Fees and restrictions may apply. See participating stores for details.
Buying a car shouldn't be a mystery. Hi, I'm Stacey Ellis, Vice President of the Jim Ellis Automotive Group. At Jim Ellis, we believe in complete transparency because you deserve to know exactly what you're getting. That's why we show you all the numbers, no hidden fees, no surprises. We explain every option clearly so you can make the right decision with confidence. And if you ever have questions, we have answers. Our team is here to guide you, making sure you're informed and in control every step of the way. At Jim Ellis Automotive, we don't want to sell you just any car. We want to help you buy the right car, because doing the right thing for you is what matters most to us. Experience car buying the way it should be. Honest, straightforward, and built around you. And don't forget, Jim Ellis buys cars too. It's the safe and easy way to get maximum value for your car. To get started, visit one of our 21 convenient locations across Metro Atlanta or shop online at jimellis.com. The quick, easy, and convenient way to search and compare more than 5,500 cars, trucks, and SUVs. Jim Ellis Automotive, where you can always expect the best.
Extra 106.3 and a second chance bail bonds are here to back your blue. Now back to the show on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Welcome back to Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3 with Major Stephen Gaynor, Criminal Investigations Division, Cobb County Sheriff's Office, and Investigator Pedros Munoz does senior fraud presentations around Cobb County, trying to keep people in the know so they aren't taken advantage of. These cyber crimes are going through the roof, fraud going through the roof, wire bank fraud. It's unbelievable. I just told the story, along with Daniel Madeline, too, of Second Chance Bail Bonds and the Second Chance Monitoring, the reason we are able to do the show. I was telling the story of someone who was trying to buy a dog and figured out, just through trial and error, really, that this was a complete scam. And it turned out to be. And thankfully, they didn't lose any money. They figured it out on time. But Major Gaynor, you were about to say there was another person that had a similar situation.
So similar like that. So given today's environment and climate, people are trying to invest in silver and gold, right? So the big thing we're seeing is gold. So people are going online, social media, whatever it might be, finding gold. And then they'll meet somebody and they'll buy this gold from them. I had one guy that sold an ATV for the 3 gold bars.
Actually,
Right.
I mean, literally, they sold up with 3 gold bars.
Man, I looked at them like, these are real.
Like
And they're
Yosemite
like,
Sam.
No, these aren't real. They were packaged and everything, just like you would find on the internet when you look up gold bars, buying them, packaged exactly like it, right? So
it's like a Temu gold
yeah, he
coin.
takes it to have it examined, and then they go, this is fake gold.
What?
Well, we've had like 3 of those type cases where they buy it on the online, right? So my recommendation, right, if you're going to buy gold, why don't you meet at somebody that analyzes gold? So when they hand you these gold bars or silver bars, and you're going to give cash for it, hey, Pedro, is this real gold?
Hang on. Who really thinks somebody on Facebook is selling gold bars?
Evidently, a lot of folks.
No, it can't
Listen,
be.
no, but Tug, you can buy gold bars at Costco.
Okay,
Yes.
but that's at least at Costco and on Facebook.
You can.
I mean,
Walmart,
you
yeah.
can Walmart. I mean, you can buy caskets now at these places. So I mean, it's not too
online,
far
you
fetched that they're. I mean, I mean,
Well, we've
I'm
seen a
just
number
saying.
of them.
I'm just saying. If somebody on Facebook tells you in Messenger, hey, I'm going to sell you some gold bars. It's just they're closing down Fort Knox, and I'm going to sell you some of these gold bars. It'll be a great deal. I would immediately be like, hang on. See, there's no way. I'm not falling. I'm dumb.
I'm laughing at
I'm
this.
maybe the dumbest person in the room, but I ain't falling for that one.
I'm laughing at this, but I do know people that own gold bars, and
Like, physically they have them?
That
Where do
physically
you
have them.
small? They're
Say-
small. They're not. We're
Yeah,
talking
they're
about
not. It's
Fort
not. Yeah,
Knox.
you're
On
not.
Bugs
thinking-
Bunny, they're much bigger.
Yes.
Those gold bars. No, but I'm telling you, you know people. I don't
Yes,
know
I
a
do. I do know.
single soul.
I've actually been approached to buy gold bars.
Yeah, I
before.
know.
I don't own any gold bars. Let me clarify
Well,
that
if you
right
do,
now. Get that.
tell me
get
where
that.
and tell me the code to the safe.
Yeah,
I
I don't
know
have
some
any,
people
but
that's what they believe.
But
in.
it's true. Yeah, no, there are people that are living that
The
world.
economy's
of
going to
like,
fail, and I got to
and
buy
I-
gold and silver.
right. I have a. Yeah.
Oh, hang on. There's Shelby right now where a gold bar on Costco.
I told you. That's what I just said.
But that's
I
not
said it.
Facebook.
I was not
But
lying.
you can get it.
At least that's a reputable company. You know what I mean? You
but
can
you
go
can
buy
see-
you can go buy you an air conditioner.
Fact
And you can go
checked.
buy you some a whole bunch of Tide Pods and a gold bar all at Costco.
and you're
What a
just-
day!
And when
Somebody
you're
will snap
to
a
the end game.
picture of that screen and send out an email, a phishing email, and somebody will bite. Somebody will think.
Someone's gonna do
all
it.
it does is take one Daniel to click
One
on it.
Daniel. One.
Like you did.
I have a feeling I'm never gonna let.
Yes,
that
that's
one
right,
down,
buddy.
But
Buddy.
it really happened.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. I feel like we laugh at this. We laugh at it because it is. You have to laugh at it. You'll cry.
Yeah.
Because so many people are being taken advantage of. You gave the numbers earlier, Major Gaynor, and the amounts of people that are just in Cobb County. Can you imagine what the metro is experiencing, or the state, or the country?
So, but is that for Cobb County?
This is just Cobb County,
right.
and a lot of agencies don't investigate fraud as a single unit, right?
Right.
So their general detectives may handle everything from a homicide to a fraud investigation, right? So where's that fraud going to fall when you have major crimes? Probably at the bottom. We specifically have a fraud division which investigates fraud, which is why we keep track of the numbers. But this is pretty consistent, at least around Metro Atlanta.
So is this trending? So this is obviously trending higher now in Cobb County. We look at March, April, May.
This isn't like a made-up number. These are our normal numbers, probably for every month.
And would you, so from year in, from 22 to 23 to 24, roughly, it just keeps going up.
It's only increasing. It's not going down. If you look at the stats, they're always.
Oh, I feel like in the public, it's more because I'm seeing it more and I'm having more conversations about it. Therefore,
and dealing with it more, right?
Listen, when these bonds come through, I'm telling you, there's one thing I really dislike, and it's people that take things that are not theirs and it's other people's, and especially like elderly abuse and stuff like that.
You're gonna pay for that one day.
It's just not good. It's just not a good way to do business. And
yeah, but they don't care about that.
Oh no, they definitely don't care about that.
This is their business. This is their life. This is how they survive.
Gosh. Okay. So I know you do Investigator Munoz. I know you do senior fraud presentations around Cobb County. Mm-hmm. How do people learn about those and come and learn how to not be taken advantage of? And do you have to live in Cobb County? Because there's people listening that probably could get a lot out of this. I know it's a lot of questions at once, but there's just...
they don't have to live in Cobb County to listen to this podcast, I imagine.
No, that's right.
It's so, but as far as we go wherever, sometimes I find out because Major Gaynor will get a request. It'll come from some other division or somebody else. Churches will call. Senior centers will call. We've, as busy as we are, as overwhelmed as we are, we our agency takes the time to go out there because this is prevention. I tell myself, if I can tell you two and get you two to tell to people, it's something to stop them. I don't want to meet them in person. I don't want to meet them at our window because the odds are stacked against them that their money's long gone and I'm not going to be able to get it back.
Gosh. So can they go to the website? Can they go to the Facebook page? How do they?
We're trying to keep it up, Tug, on Facebook and that, but we inspired churches to do it. So we're doing a new series. We're trying to work through a gentleman with all the churches right in the square in Marietta to do a senior presentation in each one of those churches. So if you belong to a congregation and you want to reach out to us and say, hey, we'd like to put on a presentation for all of our members. It doesn't have to just be seniors.
That's right. Absolutely.
Because everybody's being a victim from that 16-year-old to that 97-year to Daniel.
He's never going to live it down.
And
just going to drag his name through the mud.
I'm not going to tell you about the other 10 times I got scammed now.
That's right.
See, now you're going to keep me.
I'm going to keep him. He's never going to open up.
I'm never going to open up to the group now.
He's never trusting again.
The sheriff's office.
Write that down, Daniel.
The sheriff's office YouTube page also has information on elder presentations.
Cool. Gosh, final thought here.
Well, I wanted to give you another one that we're having is somebody standing at the ATM with a check that says, I just can't get my check to cash. Will you cash my check for me? Oh. And this young man's making a killing around Metro Atlanta, right?
So this is happening right now.
Right now. He got people driving up to the ATM that are using it going, hey, I give you this $400 check. I'll give you $50 out of you. Just cash my check. I can't get my card to work. And they cash his $400 check. They give him $350. He gives you 50. He gives you your 50 back, but he still got 350 of his because that check was no good.
Do not cash people's checks
unless you know them.
And then you probably then you might not do it anyway.
It's the worst feeling. It's
just
really
being taken advantage of.
It's really the worst feeling.
Like, you got to know there's money in that bank too to cash that check. Even if you know the person, that check, money might not be there.
That's right, because then you get it and then it just bounces like a basketball in the NBA playoffs. Goodness. All right. Well, if you don't feel deflated, then know that there's someone out there advocating on your behalf. I think that's the most important thing with Major Gaynor and Investigator Munoz out here on your team. Guys, thank you so much for what you do. Thank you for taking care of the community the way you do and being here to talk about it. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
That'll do it for us. This is Extra 106.3 and Back Your Blue.
This is an Extra 106.3 podcast. To hear more live and local content like this, tune into 106.3 FM or download the Extra 106.3 app.
Big news, pepperoni fans. Marco's Pizza is celebrating America's favorite topping the best way we know how. It's Marco's Pepperoni Fest with 3 pepperoni stuffed showstoppers. Sink your teeth into our new pepperoni bread for just $5. Grab a cheesy pepperoni pizzoli handheld or go big with our iconic pepperoni Magnifico pizza. Get all these bold pepperoni flavors at prices worth cheering for only during Marco's Pepperoni Fest.
Use code PEPFEST. California residents use code PEPFESTCA. California prices higher. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Fees and restrictions may apply. See participating stores for details.
Buying a car shouldn't be a mystery. Hi, I'm Stacey Ellis, Vice President of the Jim Ellis Automotive Group. At Jim Ellis, we believe in complete transparency because you deserve to know exactly what you're getting. That's why we show you all the numbers, no hidden fees, no surprises. We explain every option clearly so you can make the right decision with confidence. And if you ever have questions, we have answers. Our team is here to guide you, making sure you're informed and in control every step of the way. At Jim Ellis Automotive, we don't want to sell you just any car. We want to help you buy the right car because doing the right thing for you is what matters most to us. Experience car buying the way it should be. Honest, straightforward, and built around you. And don't forget, Jim Ellis buys cars too. It's the safe and easy way to get maximum value for your car. To get started, visit one of our 21 convenient locations across Metro Atlanta or shop online at jimellis.com. The quick, easy, and convenient way to search and compare more than 5,500 cars, trucks, and SUVs. Jim Ellis Automotive, where you can always expect the best.